The courthouse in downtown Chicago was already buzzing that morning. Phones on silent, shoes echoing on polished floors, and the low hum of people waiting for their names to be called. To most folks, it was just another day in court. To 17-year-old Ethan Carter, it felt like walking into a spotlight he never asked for. Ethan stood quietly beside the defense table, hands folded, shoulders relaxed, wearing a simple gray suit that looked a size too big. His hair was neatly trimmed, his face calm, but not scared. People often mistook that calm for weakness. He was used to it. A few rows back, whispers floated through the courtroom. Who's that kid? Is he lost? Probably someone's son. At the bench sat Judge Richard Collins, a man in his early 60s with silver hair and a reputation for running a tight courtroom. He'd seen thousands of cases, and he believed he could read people in seconds. That confidence had slowly turned into something else over the years, assumptions. Judge Collins glanced down at the docket, then up at Ethan. His eyes lingered just a second too long. "Mr. Carter, is it?" the judge said, adjusting his glasses. "You're here for the defendant?" "Yes, Your Honor," Ethan replied, voice steady. A soft chuckle rippled through the gallery. Someone coughed to hide a laugh. The judge raised an eyebrow. "You look awfully young to be standing there. Where's the actual attorney?" "I am the attorney for today, sir." That did it. A few people couldn't help themselves. A quiet laugh, a shake of the head. Even the prosecutor smirked. Judge Collins leaned back in his chair. "Son, this is a criminal court, not a mock trial. If you're here for a school assignment, you're in the wrong room." Ethan didn't flinch. He'd heard worse: teachers, store managers, even cops who talked to him like he didn't belong. He took a slow breath. "With respect, Your Honor," he said, "I'm licensed under the state's provisional advocacy program. I've filed the paperwork." The judge waved a hand dismissively. "I'll get to that in a moment. Right now I need a real lawyer present." The word real hung in the air. Ethan nodded once. "Understood." From the defense table, Marcus Hill, a middle-aged black man in an orange jumpsuit, watched the exchange with tight lips. He'd already lost faith in the system years ago. Seeing the judge laugh at the only person willing to stand beside him just confirmed what he already believed. Judge Collins shuffled papers, clearly ready to move on. "Bailiff, see if we can locate appointed counsel for—" "Your Honor," Ethan interrupted gently. The courtroom went still. Interrupting a judge was never a smart move. The judge's eyes narrowed. "You're pushing your luck, young man." Ethan met his gaze. "I won't waste the court's time. Just 60 seconds. If after that you want me to step aside, I will." A murmur spread through the room. 60 seconds wasn't much. The judge sighed, clearly amused. "Fine," Judge Collins said. "You've got 1 minute. Impress me." Ethan nodded. He turned slightly toward the bench, his posture shifting. Not cocky, not nervous, just focused. "Marcus Hill has been charged with possession with intent," Ethan began. "But the arrest report shows the search was conducted without probable cause. The officer cited suspicious behavior, yet body cam footage shows Mr. Hill was simply waiting for a bus. No bulge, no exchange, no tip. The drugs were found only after an unlawful search." The judge's smile faded just a bit. Ethan continued. "Under Illinois v. Wardlow, presence in a high-crime area alone does not justify a stop. And under Terry, there must be specific, articulable facts. Those facts are missing here." Silence. Ethan finished calmly. "Which means any evidence obtained is inadmissible." "Thank you for your time, Your Honor." The courtroom didn't laugh this time. Judge Collins sat forward, fingers steepled. The prosecutor's smirk was gone now, too. "Where did you say you studied law?" the judge asked. "I didn't," Ethan replied. "Not formally." A few eyebrows shot up. "I completed an accelerated legal program while finishing high school," Ethan added. "Passed the bar equivalent under supervision." The judge stared at him, trying to reconcile what he'd just heard with the kid standing in front of him. Marcus leaned forward, hope flickering for the first time. Judge Collins cleared his throat. "I'll review the paperwork." As the bailiff handed over the documents, the judge skimmed them quickly. His jaw tightened. Everything checked out. For the first time that morning, Judge Collins didn't look amused. He looked unsettled. "Well," he said slowly, "it appears Mr. Carter is qualified." A shift moved through the courtroom. People sat up straighter, phones subtly lifted, recording despite the rules. The judge nodded stiffly. "Proceed." Ethan turned back to Marcus. "We've got this," he whispered. The trial moved forward, and with every question Ethan asked, his confidence grew. He didn't grandstand. He didn't raise his voice. He just asked sharp, precise questions that left little room to wiggle. When the arresting officer took the stand, Ethan approached carefully. "Officer Reynolds," he said, "you testified that Mr. Hill appeared nervous. Can you describe what nervous means?" The officer shrugged. He avoided eye contact. "Is that a crime?" "No." "Is it unusual for someone to be uncomfortable around police?" The officer hesitated. "I guess not." "And you didn't observe him commit any illegal act before stopping him?" "No, so your decision was based on a feeling." The prosecutor objected. "Argumentative." "Sustained," Judge Collins said, but his tone lacked conviction. Ethan nodded. No further questions. By the time closing arguments ended, the courtroom felt different. The laughter from earlier seemed embarrassing, now like something people wanted to forget. The judge dismissed the jury for deliberation. As everyone stood, Judge Collins watched Ethan gather his notes. For the first time, the judge felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. Minutes later, the jury returned. "Not guilty." Marcus exhaled sharply, hands shaking. Tears filled his eyes as he hugged Ethan, forgetting for a moment where he was. "Thank you," Marcus whispered. "They never listened to us." Ethan hugged him back briefly. "They listened today." As the courtroom emptied, Judge Collins remained seated. He watched Ethan walk toward the exit, then spoke. "Mr. Carter." Ethan turned. The judge stood, stepping down from the bench. Up close, he seemed older somehow. "I owe you an apology," Judge Collins said quietly. "I judged you before you spoke." Ethan nodded. "It happens." "That doesn't make it right," the judge replied. "You're impressive." Ethan gave a small smile. "I appreciate that, Your Honor." As Ethan left the courtroom, whispers followed him again, but this time they sounded different. "Did you see that? That kid was sharp. I thought he was just some intern." Outside, sunlight hit Ethan's face as he stepped onto the courthouse steps. His phone buzzed with messages, friends, mentors, people who'd been watching the live stream. But Ethan wasn't celebrating yet, because he knew something most people in that courtroom didn't. This case was just the beginning, and Judge Collins wasn't done with him yet. The story should have ended there. That's how it usually goes. One win, one headline, a quick moment of praise, then back to business as usual. But this time it didn't. 2 weeks after the Marcus Hill case, Ethan Carter walked back into the same courthouse. Same halls, same polished floors, same faces, but the vibe was different. People noticed him now. Some nodded. Some stared. Some smiled a little too hard. Judge Richard Collins sat at the bench again, robe pressed, posture stiff. He told himself he'd moved on, but he hadn't. Ever since that day, Ethan's calm voice replayed in his head. "I judged you before you spoke." The court clerk called the next case. State versus Daniel Brooks. Daniel Brooks was a white college student. Early 20s, clean haircut, family seated behind him. He was charged with assault during a bar fight. The prosecution argued intent. The defense claimed self-defense. Ethan wasn't involved in this case. He sat quietly in the back, observing. Judge Collins watched the defense attorney, a seasoned, confident man, make his case. The judge nodded along, asked clarifying questions, even cracked a light joke that drew soft laughter. Ethan noticed. So did others. When the verdict came back, reduced charges, light sentence, the courtroom buzzed with approval. As people filed out, a woman leaned toward her friend and whispered, "At least he looks like he belongs here." Ethan froze. He didn't turn around. He didn't react. But Judge Collins heard it. For the first time, the comment landed differently. That afternoon, Judge Collins sat alone in his chambers longer than usual. He pulled old case files, scanned names, faces, outcomes. Patterns he'd never wanted to see before were suddenly impossible to ignore. A knock came at the door. "Come in." It was Judge Elena Brooks, a colleague and longtime friend. "You look like you just lost an argument with yourself," she said. He exhaled. I think I've been winning the wrong ones for years. She raised an eyebrow. What happened? He didn't answer right away. Then quietly, that kid. Ethan Carter. She smiled faintly. Yeah, he shook things up. No, Collins said. He held up a mirror. Weeks passed. Ethan's name started circulating online. Clips of the trial went viral, not for drama, but for substance. Comment sections surprised people. I judged him too. This made me rethink some stuff. That judge actually listened. Respect. Ethan ignored most of it. He was busy. Then one morning he got an unexpected call. Mr. Carter, the voice said, this is Judge Collins' chambers. The judge would like to speak with you. Ethan paused. About what? He didn't say. The meeting was private. No cameras? No court staff. Judge Collins stood as Ethan entered. Thank you for coming, the judge said. Of course. They sat across from each other. No bench between them this time. I want to be direct, Collins said. I messed up. Not just with you, with a lot of people. Ethan listened. I can't undo the past, the judge continued. But I can change what happens next. He slid a folder across the table. It's a proposal, Collins said. A mentorship and review program. Young advocates, diverse backgrounds, court access, oversight. Ethan opened the folder, scanning quickly. This would give people a real shot, Ethan said. That's the idea. Ethan looked up. Why me? Because you didn't humiliate me, Collins said honestly. You didn't try to win a moment. You tried to fix something. Silence settled. I'll help, Ethan said finally. But only if it's real. Not for optics. Collins nodded. Agreed. Months later, the program launched quietly. No press conference, no big speeches. But things began to shift. Young lawyers, black, white, Latino, Asian, stood in courtrooms they'd once felt locked out of. Judges listened more carefully. Attorneys prepared more thoroughly, not because they were afraid, because they were aware. One afternoon, a new case came before Judge Collins. A teenage defendant, nervous, quiet. The courtroom waited. Judge Collins looked at the kid, then glanced toward the gallery. Ethan was there, watching. The judge leaned forward. Take your time, Collins said gently. We're here to hear you. The kid looked up, surprised. Ethan smiled to himself. Change didn't come with applause. It came with moments like that. Later that day, as Ethan walked out of the courthouse, a reporter shouted a question. Mr. Carter, do you think racism in the justice system is over? Ethan stopped. He turned back calmly. No, he said, but I think pretending it doesn't exist is. That clip spread fast, not because it was loud, but because it was true. And somewhere between judgment and understanding, a system took one small step forward. Not because of anger, but because someone finally listened.